Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm back with Anjana today. So, Anjana, I don't know if you guys know her or not, but anyway, I'll move to the introduction. Anjana is the winner of Indian Idol Junior and a singer. So, thank you very, very much, Anjana, for being. It's my pleasure to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, firstly. It's very special to be a part of this.
My pleasure, Anjana. So, before we begin and get into any kind of things or talk about anything, it would be great if you could introduce yourself, what you do, and everything about your work. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I am, as he said, Anjana Padmanabhan. I'm studying in class 12, and I'm based out of Bangalore right now. And I started off singing when I was about 8 years of age. I took part in a reality show before I was a part of Indian Idol Junior, which was called as Super Singer Junior 3, which was a show in summer. So in that show, I happened to, go to the semifinals, and then eventually I got eliminated. A major reason why I took part in that show was because most of the times what would happen was people would come home and they would ask me to sing something, and I just run and I just go and shut myself into a room because I was very shy, extreme introvert. And then, the main reason why I really wanted to get out of that fear of singing in front of people was why I did that show. And my mom, really persuaded me and pushed me to do it. And eventually, after that show happened through my school and through, DPS where I study, they really pushed me into Indian Idol Junior, and that's how I got into the competition. And I just went there to get an experience as much as possible to learn, and then eventually, happened to win the show. So it was great. So ever since I have been learning music, I've been singing. I've sung for a few Kannada films. I've sung for a Konkani film, a Hindi film, and I've been working with the Grammy Award winner Ricky Kej for about 3 years now. We've done an album of 26 songs in Hindi, which is basically songs on sustainable environment, uh, along with UNICEF. And recently, we also did a concert to raise funds during the COVID pandemic, where we sang songs about the earth and hope and reinstilling hope in individuals and group of people. So we also got to do interviews in many channels in NDTV, etc. And we had big people like Ayushmann Khurrana, Amitabh Sir, and a lot of them being a part of the telethon and being a part of the entire initiative. So yes, that's more or less what I have been doing over the years. I have been singing a lot of projects here and there, a lot of collaborations that I have been fortunate enough to do with not just people in India, but people abroad. Uh, Different forms of music. I think the most beautiful form of music I really believe is fusion music, because the fact that Indian music can
Mhm.
really mix with any kind of music so well, and you have a beautiful piece of art that is presented in front of people. So yes, so that's basically what I have been doing over the years. But the main agenda for me has been to learn music, since I really didn't have formal training when I went to Indian Idol. So the main thing for me was to come back and learn music, because music is obviously vast and it's not possible to learn in just a day or weeks or months. It takes a lot of time and effort to actually learn music. So yeah.
Yeah, really, really true. Yes, yes. Anjana, it's again, it's wonderful to have you. Thank you very much for taking the time out. And yes, so moving on, just would like to ask, how does that everything feel? We just have we'll get into a conversation in coming fourth. So my question to you right now is, how does that feel? Collaborating and working with so many different kind of organizations, so many kind of people, and how does that feel? How does that feel?
I think something that I've really learned over the process has been that every song, every person, every different collaboration is different, right? Each song has its own vibe, each song has its own, reason why it is made. So I think the main thing that I, as a singer or I, as a musician, have to understand is what exactly is that particular song trying to tell me. Like, for example, if I'm singing a song, like, I really have to say this. So I happened to sing a song. My first ever Kannada song that I sang was a beautiful love song for this movie called Onkate Hella. So I really had to understand how the emotions are, and working with the directors, that's Pakesh and Karthik and Hariharan. Like both of them have been super, super fun to work with. So that's been it. So during the process of different collaborations, you meet different individuals who have different mindsets, different thinking, different feelings about music in general, right? Recently, I also happened to do a song, which is again a fusion of Indian music and rock music, which is called Ram Darbar, which we released around November last year. So that I did along with this Kannada music director named Heyman Joyce, and I sang it along with Jason Naikana. So I mean, each individual has so much of vibrant nature and vibrant, thinking about music. So that is something that is amazing. So obviously, it feels great to be a part of so many different things. And over these, over about it's been about 6 years since I won Indian Idol, and every small thing has been a learning experience for me, because from something or the other, I have learned something which has helped me in at some stage in life. Like I'd really like to say this. There's a particular performance of mine many years back in Lucknow, and I happened to, there's a big stage and there's this speaker. There's this huge speaker in front of me, and I didn't notice it. And I went in front of it, and I happened to fall right bang on stage in the middle of the song. The main thing that I learned that it was, what do you do once something like that happens in the middle of the stage, middle of the song? How do you continue the rest of the show? How do you continue singing when you think you have goofed up, right? That's the bigger part of it, because once you goof up, you're just thinking, what is going to happen? You just want to leave the place right away and just
Yes.
not be there anymore. But how do you, deal with that situation and yet make that concert a, fruitful one, was something that I learned. So I think, learning and the entire enjoyment of being a part of this process is really amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, true. And yes, I think everybody's life has those moments when we meet people and do mistakes which help us learn things, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think I have also learned many things. I knew nothing, and I when I started things and making these podcasts in the starting, I knew nothing. And then when we get into the journey of doing something, it's the process, is
Hmm.
the way we work,
Absolutely.
which helps us make learn. And that's really true, and I really
Absolutely.
agree with that. This one thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, go ahead,
and
go ahead.
yeah, and something that I think my dad has always told me is, to enjoy the process that you're a part of, right? Not really think about what is going to happen, how is it all going to shape up, and things like that. And since I took part in it, I still remember I had my auditions for Indian Idol Junior. I was supposed to be singing in front of the judges, and I was extremely nervous because, I looked up to them, and you always have this thought of, what if I don't sing something right, and what if it all goes wrong, right, in front of them. And then so that's what crept, nervousness inside any individual. So my dad always told me that, you just have to go there, just be yourself. If it happens, it happens. Doesn't happen. As long as you're enjoying the path, that's all it is. So I mean, that the
Yes.
process has been the the emphasis more than actually what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
just as simple, to put it in the simple words, is just enjoy what you do. And
exactly,
if you don't enjoy, then that makes no sense to do it. That's as
exactly.
simple that as that. And
Yeah.
when you were speaking about doing music and making music in multiple languages, Kannada, Hindi, and Kokam, and
Correct.
Tamil and Telugu, and all the different languages. I'm not sure if you
Correct.
made
Correct.
in Telugu. I'm not sure what's that, but
Okay.
all the languages you made in. What does it learn? What does it make you learn about about languages and the rhythm and the essence of music? What does it make you learn about the language and the music together? Yeah.
Small correction, right? You have people who make songs. I'm someone who
See.
goes and sings it. So I'm
Yes.
not someone who's a part
Yeah.
of the process of making the
Yeah. So
music.
my
So I
apologies.
think
Yeah.
they deserve that part as a credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm eventually, I think, initially I didn't know a lot of when I was in Indian Idol also, I didn't know Hindi. So that was a very big thing for me because I didn't know the language, and it was, for any song you need to understand what the words are telling you, what the emotion is, and only then you'd be able to, give provide the justice to the song. So obviously working now, I've sung songs in Tamil, not really professional work in Tamil, but since I took part in the competition, I've sung a lot of songs in Tamil. Then Kannada, obviously, then Hindi, then Konkani, then Bengali to an extent. I like to sing because my dad is from Calcutta, and so yes, it's like a mix of all of these languages. So I think from every language has its own beauty, and everything has something that you can learn from the way you're supposed to pronounce something, how that adds to the beauty of the rhythm, as you said, the tune, the essence of music, that everything like just to say, right, you can't, for if suppose the theme of a song is something that gives out an emotion of some, for example, love, right, you can't scream your lungs out and try to explain love, because that's not something that is going to give you the essence. And that's what happens when you don't understand what the song is and what the music is wanting to convey. And
Mhm.
something that I want to learn, obviously, and I don't think I've, anybody can master it. It will take a lot of time to do it, to understand what really music is. It's as I said in the beginning itself, it's like super vast, like this really deep ocean, which is super difficult to really finish in a lifetime. But just to learn parts of it and really enjoy music, enjoy different parameters of music is great.
Hmm,
So yeah.
hmm. Great, great. And this, I have seen you in television when you were in an Indian Idol. I have seen you. So, we understand you were around people who are very famous and people who are Shreya Ghoshal and all
Correct.
those different people.
Correct.
Receive awards from Amitabh and all those different things. So my question to you
Correct.
is, when you were, I think around, if I'm not wrong, you were 10, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Correct.
getting that much amount of fame and attention, and of course money also would be involved when you are in this um,
Mm.
big projects and
Mm.
competitions. How does life become different, or how does things change because of all the, I think when a person gets fame at a very very young age, I think it becomes hard, it becomes different, think lives changes, right? Things change, people know you wherever you
Correct.
go, things change for you. So how was it for you?
I think one thing that I really like to give it to my parents was, irrespective of whether I won the competition or not, my family and friends were completely the same with me. And I honestly, being a 10-year-old, when as you said, right, when you win a show that's obviously a national show, so it's a pretty big thing, because everybody has watched you on television, and they've liked you and they voted for you, so it's all very special and you feel great, right? You really really feel great about it. But eventually, right, as a 10-year-old, because I was a kid, probably that thing didn't really hit me as though it would have probably hit me now, because at that time my emotions, my maturity was still that of a kid. So my thought process would still be like a 10-year-old who'd be like, okay, the competition is done, tomorrow what am I going to be doing, what is the next thing? So it was more about, okay, now this show is done, I'm coming back to Bangalore, I'm going to meet my friends, go back to school again after 6 months. So it was all about doing the normal things in life, because something that they've always stressed upon my family is to always, whatever, maybe live a simple, normal life. And that is something that I've always done, right? Done all the normal things. So there's nothing like, fame and, all of the, obviously there is some bit of it, some bit of attention that you do get, right? As a part of the process. But it's all about how you take it. Right? If you take it too much, and then that can affect the way that you will live the next amount of years. But if you take it in a positive way, and that really pushes you to do this more, and yet do the simple things and just gain a happiness from it, I think that's at the end of the day, I think that's the most beautiful thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
great, great, yeah. So yes, yes, that's beautiful, that's beautiful. And did as the question I had asked you, did things change anyway, like in the school or in anywhere you were going, did things change for you?
Yeah, slightly, yes. I mean, when you come back to school, obviously, though you don't look at it that way, there will still be a few people around you who might, look at you slightly differently than what it used to be in the past. Because In the past, they might have just looked at you as another school kid, and then now after the show got over, they probably would have watched me on television. And obviously, my school did so much to support me and push me through the journey. It really helped me throughout Indian Idol, throughout my music journey till now. They supported me throughout. So, I mean, there were posters all over the buses, wherever they would drop kids, and there were posters in, every building of the school saying you have to vote for her. Then they would come and give notices to children saying, now Anjana's in this particular level, so please do vote for her and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things. So obviously there would be a few people who might look at you slightly differently, right? And honestly, I'm not someone who, and being a dip side, I'm telling you, there's so many students in DPS that it's impossible to know every individual. Personally, you have a set of friends, but it does get. There are a few, there were a large number of children who really supported me, pushed me. Obviously, there were a few who, you always have that thing when you're in school, and it's always going to be that, thing of, there's going to be stuff talked about you which isn't true that will go around. And obviously it did, affect me to an extent, because my friends always knew, I always knew that I'm not that kind of a person. And then, there are obviously a few things here and there, but then how you deal with it. And eventually it all got settled in, because everybody really understood where I came from and what I did. So that's probably, like, those are I feel those are extremely tiny things that you can look at it. But a big picture, if you look at it as a very big picture, it was an extreme push for me to, believe. Till then, I didn't believe that I could do music. It was like an extreme, it told me that this could be a path that I can take in life. And I actually end up, just doing music in life and no need to do anything else. So that's something that push and that advantage was, I think, the biggest.
Okay, great. And did you have those people who were like, oh wow, you have met these people, wow, you have met these celebrities, could you help me connect with them, or those kind of, can you make me meet them? And did you have those people also?
Yeah, like a few of them, but then eventually I had to be like, okay, look, if I take you, then I have to take everybody with me to go meet them. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be unfair for all those 100 people also who'd want to meet them. So yeah, I mean, eventually, yes, I think they kind of understood where I came from.
Yeah. Yes,
So
yeah,
yeah.
I think there are these kind of people everywhere, and yes. So so
I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, as
yeah.
a person, if I knew
Mm,
someone who knows my favorite
yes,
celebrity, I would just go and ask them, like, can
yes,
you
I
please
for
get me
sure.
to meet them? Because it would be like obviously a lot of people would have dreamt to meet them as famous people. But yes, when it comes from that perspective, you just have to understand that yes, they also have their own set of emotions, and just have to
Yeah. Yes,
understand where they're
yes.
coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally understand, because I have also have many same kind of people who are like, oh, please connect me with them. They just want to talk to him. He's, oh, that. So these kind of things are there everywhere. So yes. Moving on. What's some things. Uh, as you said, you have been singing since you were a small kid, and then
Right.
music has always been there in your life. So
Hmm.
when you how did music help you in any of your uh what I say, how did it help you, maybe what effects does music have in your life, what impact, or how does music help you heal, or what impact does it have in your life? Yeah.
Very huge impact, obviously, because uh, look, I've been singing since I was 8 years old, and though there hadn't, no, none of them in my family are singers, but all of them have enjoyed music. So there's, my dad used to play a lot of cassettes and a lot of CDs and different forms of music. It used to be classical music, it'd be folk music, then Bollywood music, then Western music, different kinds of music that I used to listen to. So yes, it did have a huge impact, and in fact, I think music is something that's a huge stress buster. So all of them who probably learn an instrument or even know how to sing or learn anything for that matter connected to music, they'll know this. They'll really understand that music is an extreme, one of the biggest stress busters, because every time when you like I during my exams and stuff like that, where I feel like okay, I don't know what is going to happen when I get the paper, The only thing that I can resort to is like, 30 minutes of probably practicing something or 30 minutes of listening to something. And it automatically just calms you and your mind, because sometimes when you're completely restless you don't even know how to think, because you're like, okay, I have to do so many things, how do you manage these? And then it really puts things into perspective, and then you start thinking how everything is going to work, and something that it really calms you down. So I think not just me, any individual for that matter, I think every person in this globe enjoys music, right? They have their own personal choices of listening to music. Everybody has their own personal choices. Few of them might like rock, few of them might like English music, some other country or Indian music, Bollywood music, folk music, so many kinds of music. But ultimately, it is music. It is some form of rhythm, some form of a tune, or some pitching, anything for that matter, right? So I think in every individual's life, there is a huge impact of music. And for me, obviously, it has had a big impact because I've always now, last at least 3 4 years, been very serious about wanting to do this as a career in future, because I mean, I've really believed in this fact of doing what you love to do in life, because eventually that's what is going to give you happiness, right? Even if like there will, obviously music is not something that is a secured career. Like you have a degree which you do, which will obviously be much, which would always look much more secure compared to yellow collar jobs, right? And music falls under the yellow collar career. So something like this will always look unsettled, unsure. But as long as you believe that you can do it, then nothing should stop any individual from doing it. So yes, it has a very big, very, very huge impact on the way I think, the way everything is around me. So yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And so how of course when you say you want to pursue something as a career, when you'd never know, because sometimes as an artist you would get a lot of work, and sometimes as an artist you won't get a work. It's just on how
Hmm.
name and things are done, because in the today's there are multiple people who sing and there are multiple people doing same things.
Mm-hmm.
So how important does it become for you? How important do you think is studying or getting a degree in something is important? How importantly do you take that?
Absolutely important. There's no denial about it. I think, see, something that I have done is always manage to do what I love to do along with this, along with probably studies and a degree. Something that coming from a South Indian household, I think it's education and everything is this space is a priority, right? It's always important to have a degree. So yeah, I mean, it's completely right. Whatever thought process everybody has regarding studies or education is extremely important. Education is an extreme priority in a person's life. So always pursue something that is always like I wouldn't say backup, something that you will always have regardless of whatever, right? The fact that, even in music industry, even if you become a musician, just the fact that we're having this conversation today, you have to have basic education to understand what to say, where, how do you talk, everything, right? So education plays a very important role in any person's life. It really, channelizes the way anybody thinks. So absolutely important to do a degree, obviously. But all that I'm saying is, a person shouldn't give up on what they also enjoy to do,
Hmm.
right? And under the pressure of wanting to do something which is not even their which is not even something that's going to give them happiness in the end of the day, you rather channelize your time in such a way that you can also do something that you love to do, and you can also do something which is also equally important. So yeah.
Yeah, totally agree to that point. And yes, it's important, but I think it also becomes a personal choice. I think
Correct.
as you said, education is important, but when if you
Correct.
for once you get a sense of doing things and the way you must talk and the way you must
Correct.
perform, I think if you don't wish to carry out and go move forward and just drop out, I think that's right. So
Correct.
the person must decide on itself and just must know what's
Exactly.
right and what's wrong by him or herself.
Absolutely.
That's what I believe in.
Absolutely.
And some more few questions, Anjana.
Sure.
The one question I just wanted to we hear about. Yeah. So I'll just not pose the question, but I ask you I ask you this question: is what are the myths about what are true things which happen in a reality show, and how what are myths and what is reality in a show, in a reality show.
I think, see, I'll tell you what I have gone through in the show. I don't know how it is at present or whatever is happening, but I do know for a fact of how it was when I experienced it. It is pretty straightforward as to what it is. I think it's just about you as an individual going out there, and you have a talent, you have a voice, you get an opportunity to go take part through the auditions and be a part of it. So I think the truths are obviously right there, just like how my show happened. Everything happened the same way. We used to sing completely live. There was nothing like, a lot. I heard a few people always, I've heard a few people saying that, when people sing in reality shows, sometimes they lip sync and stuff like that. That's not true. We actually sing live. We completely sing live. And I had an experience actually during Indian Idol, my first ever stage performance when we got to top 10. I was singing with Saffron. I think you might know him. He sang this song called Q from Barfi and many songs more.
So I would know him, but
Famous
of
song.
course I wouldn't remember him by name. So surely I
Okay.
would know him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I happened to sing Q, that is his song from Barfi, along with him. And um, something happened and we had to stop the performance after the first, the musicians play at the first bit and then you're supposed to take it. Uh, in the previous rehearsals that took place, that there was a longer gap till I take the first line. And they played a shorter piece. So then they expected me to take it and I said, wasn't there a longer gap? And the fact was like, okay, now do I get another chance to sing or not? And then eventually, Papa on that told them that no, she actually was right. Yesterday you played a longer bit. And that's how I got it. And there was also a certain performance, a certain individual, where there was a mistake that he made, and he had, we had to, they actually checked with all of us if it was okay to give him another chance to sing. So it's all about that. I mean, the fact that everything was completely true. Like we had to sing completely on stage. It was nothing like if we made a mistake that could come on TV. If we sang perfectly, then we would get obviously, the praise and everything that comes with the performance, right? And it used to be very genuine, honestly. Like all the judges were extremely genuine people. Even now, the fact that I think, I'm still in touch with a few of them, and they're so sweet, so special because always, I'm very close to Shreya Ghoshal Didi. Every time she comes to Bangalore, get a chance to meet her, whenever she performs and get to go meet her backstage. And she's just probably the most beautiful angel on planet. Very sweet. And you don't feel like you're talking to Shreya Ghoshal, right? You feel like you're just talking to someone who's very simple, just like you, right? So I think all of that was so genuine throughout the show. There was nothing like, this was a myth and all of that. But obviously, one thing that I would say is once the reality show is done, right, you're pretty much out in the open,
Hmm.
right? It's all about you trying to figure out what you're going to do next. It's a lot of people think that if you do a reality show, then a career in music is set. That's not true. If you do a reality show, it does give you the push and the start that you need towards your career, but it doesn't really make your career. You have to work as hard as you can, meet the right people, learn different skills other than just music, and get to know different people, talk to them, communicate, then go and show your talent. Use social media in the right way. I mean, social media is actually a great place where you can put out your talent. I mean, if you use it in the right way, it's a great place to actually put out what you're good at. A lot of people who might, really appreciate you. Few might put you down, but that shouldn't dishearten you for doing what you love to do. I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
yes, there'll be people to tell you not to do it, but you have to believe that no, I want to do it.
Yes.
So yeah, so I mean, this would be one thing because a few people, I've seen like they've gone to, my gurus have told me in the past that a few people would come to them and ask them to train them for 2 months that they can win a reality show. And my teacher would try to tell them that you can't learn 2 months, and if music is not about winning a reality show.
Yeah.
Yes, it will give you that push and that advantage, but that doesn't mean that you're eventually, the career is like completely set. You need to work
Yeah.
towards it
Hmm.
professionally and, put in a lot of work and hard work. So yeah, so that is probably one thing. Otherwise, it's pretty much as everybody sees it on television.
Okay,
So
okay. So yes,
yeah.
great, totally. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So, so just one last question, Anjana, I would like to put over here is, what would be your advice to anybody who wishes to sing, and has passion of singing? What would be your advice to them?
I think the biggest thing is not just for music, for any person who wants to do anything is just to not give up. Because whatever it is, you will face things that might not, that might tell you to not do this. But that should actually push you more to do what you like to do. Just keep going at it one or the other day. Eventually, if you're really made for it, if you really put the right kind of work and the smart work, then you'll eventually get there. So, I mean, singers, especially, I think one of the biggest things is to just keep learning and learning and learning, and always be open to listen to any kind of music. And just see, there's always something that you're obviously good at, right? There's going to be one strength of yours as an individual. But other than a strength, then if you, as a singer, I would say that other than your main core thing that you're good at. That can be classical music, that can be Bollywood, that can be anything. Other than your core, I think it's also very nice if you also look around different kinds of music, try learning something from every bit of it. It's not something that you need to be a master of, but just to enjoy the fact that there is so much of variety in music other than just one kind of mainstream music. So that is something that I would really like to say. I mean, it's not really an advice. It's just that you guys, all of us can push together towards what we really want to do,
Mhm.
and really kind of work smartly to achieve the same.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, really beautiful, really beautiful.
yeah.
So thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Same
Yes,
here.
it's my pleasure again. It's my pleasure. I think it's beautiful that you joined me again. I'm really grateful to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.